Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Allevo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. It's a big week for people traveling and celebrating with families. Let's find out more about the weather. Today's weather is brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Moisture moving through Ohio here through the rest of today. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that forecast update. No major weather issues here, just rain. Trying to work through. The rain is going to give way to cold air for tomorrow. It's not going to be right away here, but overnight we start to see that cold air blasting in, and the cold comes with strong west and northwest flow across the Great Lakes. So lake effect is picking up some speed in my vernacular here. I think we have to watch for lake effect mostly in north central, northeastern parts of the state, but I won't rule it out anywhere in the far north. Everybody else, though, should be just fine for tomorrow afternoon, right on through Thanksgiving Day and Friday. The only thing we have to deal with is some brutal cold and some wind chills. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Let's check in now with an update on fall planning. Here's Brianna Smith.
Joining me is Scott LaGuire from Farm Credit Mid-America. Scott, let's talk a little bit how farmers can plan and prepare for the year ahead.
A couple things just to touch on. We've got higher input costs. A lot of listeners know about that. I'm not sure if we'll see some relief there or not. We could always see better commodity prices. The main thing is managing through it, and we've got a lot of resilient customers that will adapt. They'll find ways to work through their break-evens, and they'll come out of this thing unscathed. So the big point that we want to get across today is just communication with your lender and those other trusted advisors and open lines of communication.
What should farmers be thinking about as we get closer to 2026?
Well, here at Farm Credit, we're starting to think about AFU's annual financial updates. So what we do is we really try to sit down and understand farmers' goals and plan, have conversations about what they're looking at next year. Are we being realistic with those goals? What are the market conditions? Do they really understand their break-evens and where their working capital position is? And that's really the cushion that the producer has to lean on when you go through these cycles. 2022 and a couple of years back, we had some really good yields, some pretty decent prices. I think a lot of balance sheets got bolstered through those years. And then managing through some of these times where it's a little more lean, kind of deciding where we need to spend money on capital improvements, where we can save money, and then really managing through, do we know what our family living expenses are? That's a big one that kind of gets overlooked sometimes. And so are we being realistic with what we need to live on and then how we can use our capital to see the growth that we'd like to see here on each of your family farms?
And if people wanted to learn more about Farm Credit Mid-America, how should they do that?
You can visit us on the web, fcma.com, or if you call 1-800-444-FARM, it'll get you to the closest office to wherever you're located when you make that phone call.
Thanks, Brianna and Scott. Back with more after this.
When you're buying seed, there's more to a transaction than money. You're exchanging time and trust, hoping each decision adds up at harvest. Seed consultant sales professionals don't take that lightly. With products made to excel in the Eastern Corn Belt and agronomic knowledge that stands up to the test, we're all about the same things you are: reliability and results. Buy into a better seed experience. Visit seedconsultants.com to view our corn and soybean lineup.
We knew Monday was going to be rough, another day of limit lower closes in both the live and feeder cattle markets, and now we are left to simply sit back and hold our breath to see how long this spell of chaos will endure. Both live and feeder cattle contracts close limit lower upon hearing Tyson Foods is closing their plant in Lexington, Nebraska. For those who haven't heard, the news broke late Friday afternoon, with Tyson intends to close their Lexington plant and reduce their plant in Amarillo, Texas, to a single shift per day. The gut-wrenching blows the market have endured lately have been anything but benign, and now we'll have to continue to ride out the news. Let's check in on what we've been loading for exports.
This is Ryan Metzger with Weiss Mercantile. Data represents the volume of grain that has been physically loaded out for export for the week ending November 20th. On corn, we had 64 million bushels exported. That was within industry expectations. On soybeans, we exported 29 million bushels. This was at the low end of industry expectations. On wheat, we exported 17 million bushels. This was well above industry expectations. Please visit our website at licemercantile.com to learn more about our crop insurance, grain marketing program, and brokerage services.
And thanks, Ryan. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. On the grain side, December corn up 1/4 cent at $4.24. March up 1.5 pennies at $4.38 1/4 cent. January beans up 1/2, trading $11.23 3/4. March up 3/4 at $11.32 3/4. Wheat's also higher, with July up 2 3/4 at $5.54 1/4 cent. September up 3.5 at $5.67 1/4 cent. Just as we opened the Chicago Merc today, it was mixed for a while, then lower. Now we're back higher. December cattle up 7 cents at $207.27. March feeder cattle up $2 at $299.80. And December lean hogs up 17 cents at $78.37. The cattle market has been very volatile so far today. This is the Ohio Ag Net.